Hey everybody, what is going on? So now what we're going to do is we are going to go into the sales legacy sales script so that you can apply all the things that you've learned so far in this section. Now to give you a recap of what you learned so far, we already covered the sales legacy mindset. Where it comes to actually editing your sales script is that we're going to talk about rapport, agenda, and pain, right? So these are the three elements that we are going to cover within this section. And I'm going to show you how you can write your own script and fill out these three portions first. Now, when it comes to building rapport, again, rapport is basically getting the other person to like you and trust you, and that way you can get them to buy whatever it is that you have. And with the sales legacy sales script, right, again, you could download it as either a Keynote or a PowerPoint, depending on if you're using Mac or PC. And essentially, here is the talk track, right? So the first time you meet someone for the first time, whether it's in person or if it's over the phone, you could say, "Hey, Tim, it's really great to talk to you here. How are you doing today?" And the prospect will say, "I'm doing good. Thanks for asking." And then you have some kind of small talk, whether it's sports, weather, it doesn't really matter. And like I mentioned before, small talk isn't always necessary to get the other person to like you. So once you talk a little bit, a couple sentences here and there, what you want to do is you want to take control of the meeting and you want to use the transition into the agenda. So what you're going to say is, "All right, so if you're ready, Tim, how about we go ahead and get started?" And the prospect is going to say, "Okay, great." So building rapport is simple as that, right? There's a lot of subconscious things that go on, but when it comes to the things you actually need to say to drive the conversation forward, it's really just these two things: getting the person to like you from the first impression, and then saying, "All right, so if you're ready, how about we go ahead and get started?" And the person will say, "Okay, great." So from there, what you're going to do is you're transitioning into the agenda. So you said, "All right, so if you're ready, how about we go ahead and get started?" Then you're going to go straight into this, right? And you can actually just say this entirely just straight and then let the other person respond after you finish. So when you set the agenda, like we talked about, you're going to start with the time and purpose, and I'm going to go straight down so you get an idea of how to do this. Time and purpose. I wanted to take 20 minutes to see if it would make sense to work together. Of course, you're going to have some questions for me and how our services might be able to help you grow your business. I'll do my best to answer any questions you have. And naturally, I'll have some questions for you so I get a better understanding of how I can best help you. Now, at the end of the call, either one of two things will happen. If we find it doesn't make sense to work together, that's totally fine. But if there is a fit, we can work out what the next steps will be towards the end of the call. Does that sound good to you? They'll say, "Yeah, sounds good." Then you say, "Now, a lot of people tell me that they're interested, but after the first meeting, they'll stop responding and completely disappear. So if you're not interested in anything that I'm talking about or any of my services, just let me know. Does that sound fair?" And they're going to say, "Yeah, sounds fair," right? So that's essentially how you want to set the agenda. Now, mind you, when it comes to building rapport and agenda, you can just go in here and just edit the text depending on your style, right? So I'm saying, "Hey, Tim, it's really great to talk to you. How you doing today?" And, some people say you shouldn't say, "How are you doing?" But, that's my style and it always works. But for you, you want to put in your lines and what you find that works best for you and your style and the way you speak. If you want to just use what I say as a starting point, you can go ahead and do that. It's the same with setting the agenda, right? This is just my style and how I do it. You can just kind of take out the blue parts and put in whatever you want your style to be and just put it inside there. But, obviously you have my template, so you can start off with that if you're just starting out, see if it works, and then adjust certain things, maybe make it shorter depending on your sale. And then next, we're going to go into the pain section of this portion. So how you want to do it is after you set the agenda, what you want to do is you want to transition into the pain. So you could say something like, "Hey, Tim, so I'm curious to know what got you interested in taking this call today," right? So you can say that right after you set the agenda, and then the prospect, right? Let's say it's Tim. They might just talk about their major pain points right there, or they might just say some vague statements like, "Oh, I was curious to know if you can help me grow my business," something like that, right? So from there, what you can do is you dive deeper into the prospect's challenges, and you really want to understand their current situation. Where are they currently today? What pains do they experience on a day-to-day basis? Once you understand that, then you could start crafting, okay, I know where this person is at. Where do I want to take them, or where do they want to go? Some surface pain questions I have for you, and you could use these questions exactly as they are, or you could put in your own. Again, totally editable. Can you be a little more specific? What exactly do you mean by that? Can you give me an example? Obviously, a lot of examples, right? And I'm going to give you some more additional surface level pain questions like, what exactly are you selling? Who's your target demographic? What price points do you offer your product or service at? Why do you think people are buying your product or service? Things like that. So essentially, the goal of these questions is to really understand a person's pain and really understand where they currently are today, because you really need to get an idea of where they are so you can separate that from where they want to be. Now, going into the next part is we're going to go into pain number 2, right? So this is when you ask business pain questions like, why do you think that didn't work? Has anyone tried to do anything about this? If you do nothing, what happens, right? So these are all questions meant to stir up their business pains and get them talking more about their business and not just like the surface level problems. From there, you keep going deeper and deeper, and then eventually you're going to get into the personal pain questions like, how does that make you feel? How does that directly affect you? Are you ready to give up? How do you think I might be able to help? Sounds like a major issue. Why hasn't anyone taken care of this, right? So again, these are all questions going deep into that personal pain, getting the person to emotionally tell you how they feel about their problems. And from there, we're going to go into pain number 3. And this is their ideal situation question. So the whole point of all these other questions, the surface level pain questions, the business pain questions, and the personal pain questions, is to understand their pains as they are. From there, what you want to do is you really want to understand where they want to be in an ideal situation, because your product or service ideally is going to take them there. And this is how you get the questions of understanding of where they want to go. In an ideal situation, what would you want to happen? Where do you want to be 1 year from now? Maybe 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, whatever it is, right? Why is this important to you? What are your major goals for the year? What's your motivation to achieve that goal? How would your life or your business be different if you were to reach that goal? How are you helping I get help? All of these questions are meant to really stir up the prospect's imagination and get them to really think about what they want in the future. Everybody does have a want, right? Everybody has this inner desire to grow and better their situation, whether it's to have a better relationship with their family, or maybe to generate more income so they can take care of their family, or to grow their business, or to achieve a certain dream, right? Everybody has something that they want to do. So you got to figure out what their ideal situation is so that you can take them there. So with that said, either you can use my questions that I put in here, or you can create your own questions that kind of match the specific intention of really getting their emotion and just typing it here, and obviously every sale is different, every sales cycle is different, every product and service and industry is going to be different depending on who you are and things like that. So again, tailor it for your specific individual needs. I'm just giving you the template you can use if you are just starting out. Use this as a base and then build on top of it. So with that said, that's everything we got to cover when it comes to the first part of using your sales script. If you kind of look at this graph over here, you're about a third done with filling out your sales script, and then moving forward, we're going to help you understand and fill out the rest of the sales script. So with that said, that's everything that we have to cover so far, and I'm going to see you in the next section.